Smash that limiter!
Welcome everybody. I am at Spliffy, it's doing itself again.
Again.
It is. Just give me a sec, I'll just fix that right the fuck up. There you go, talk now.
Hello, how are
There we
you?
go. Hello everybody. I just realized as well that means that the intro music wasn't even playing.
No, it was. I heard it.
It was? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it was. I heard it.
Every time, so the reason why the reason why all my settings got changed is because of my VR headset. You plug that in, it just makes everything go stupid. Anyway, well, welcome to episode 57. A lot's been happening in Australia, hasn't it, Spliffy?
Well, specifically Queensland.
No, that's not true, because there were fires down south as well.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a pretty big
I
bush.
completely missed that.
Yeah, in Remington, there was a massive fucking bushfire.
Oh.
It was all controlled and a bit of vegetation got destroyed, but they did manage to control it, so that's good. But okay, so in Queensland, there was a cyclone. It's now been and done. The aftermath is just clean up now. The cyclone was not big. The media carried on like a little pork chop like they normally do, and they turned around. Yeah, they turned around and said it's gonna be catastrophic. It was only a Cat 2, and it was the reason why it was catastrophic is because it was hitting Brisbane, which normally cyclones hit like top end Queensland, so like towards Cairns Way or Darwin. Anyway, so it hit, and the fear mongering of our media, like I was just trying to find some like fun videos of Australians just making fun of this massive cyclone. Don't get me wrong, there's still damage and flooding and stuff like that, so like properties, homes and stuff like that has been damaged, but it wasn't as catastrophic as they made it out to be, put it that way. And it got to the stage where, like, you know, the people panic buying up all the food, buying up, which is dumb because if you lose power, how are you going to keep your meat cold? Because your electric battery systems, if you have them, they're not going to work either when they're submerged underwater. But it's just my little take on that one. Anyway, and they bought up all the toilet rolls, and for some reason, since COVID, everyone loves buying all the toilet roll.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so there was massive panic and carrying on. There are some Australians that decided that they were going to have a little bit of fun with it, and we're going to show you some little lightheartedness out of it. So you know, when you got a storm, there's some really cool things you can do, and that is like mudsliding. Look at this. Look at them go, having the time of their life. Look at them go down there. Whee! That is the extent of the cyclone. A lot of people were doing this like while the cyclone was hitting as well. Like people were just walking around. It wasn't.
Yeah, because
it wasn't as bad as what the fucking media came on to be. It was like
that's how it always works.
And then it lost power and went down to Cat 2. It's like
when the media says it's going to be catastrophic, what they really mean is we hope that it's catastrophic so we can write even more articles.
Basically, yeah, it's ludicrous, is what it is.
Yeah, don't watch the news. Don't bother with the news. It's a waste of your time.
I don't watch the news at all. The reason why I don't watch the news is simple. It's because, like, why do I need to watch the news? They're not going to tell me any relevant information. What they should have just they could have worded it in so many different ways. But what really gripes me with the media is, so if you're Ice Spliffy were to go start saying there's going to be a huge storm, it's going to come in and it's going to wipe us out and we're going to die, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
We could actually get arrested for inciting fear.
Yeah.
And disturbing the public. So we could actually get charged and arrested for that. But yeah, it's okay for the media to do it. And their reach is fucking massive, and a lot of Australians watch what they were carrying on about and just like, you're full of shit, especially the people in like Cairns and stuff like that. They're like, God, they're full of shit. They're like, it's only a Cat 2, that's like a fucking strong breeze, that's just 100 knot winds, that's nothing. Fucking really carrying on about, just fucking don't go near the water, like go near the ocean, just put some bags out of the funny house, you'll be fine.
Which the fact that
Um,
you and I can be charged for saying the same thing as the media sort of illustrates like
Yeah.
how much you shouldn't bother taking them so seriously.
It's bullshit. Because there's one thing that people in Australia still to this day don't understand is that there's no freedom of speech unless you're in the media.
Or a politician.
Yeah, or a politician. Because they have privilege. Media outlets and politicians have privilege. They can say things and it cannot be used against them in a court of law. Where you and I, we can't. So we can't speak lies because then we can get done for defamatory. They can. So they can outright lie. Like, I remember when
The John Barilaro case.
no, that Western Australia, I think it was a Western Australian guy, and the media were going on saying he was a pedophile and showed his pictures and stuff like that on it, and it wasn't him. It was just some random dude. Yeah, they got it. They got the wrong guy. They just found some random guy and used his photo. He tried pressing charges, and just so they're privileged, they can't get done for defamatory. He got fired from his job and everything because they thought he was a pedophile. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's just stupid. Anyway, that's just Australian things, man.
Yeah, just Australian things.
Just Australian things. We have such stupid systems. Anyway, so I'm really glad that no one was severely hurt in the storm, obviously, and I'm glad.
The death toll is 0 for this cyclone, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 0. I don't even think there's any real serious injuries or anything like that. I think if there are injuries, I think it was probably stupidity involved in it, which doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Yeah, because for Christ's sake, we were looking at people doing mudslides. There were probably more people doing. It was probably more people injured doing mudslides than the actual cyclone.
I did watch a really funny video. I couldn't find it. There was someone getting married like near like one of the reserves, and it was like around trees and stuff, and they're at a park still getting married, and a fucking hammerhead shark just comes swimming past them. They're just sitting there and they're like doing la 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 la, and then this fucking hammerhead's just chilling. It's like, hey, swim past.
Hey, what are you doing?
They're like, oh, what the fuck is that doing here? And like the guy that's the officiant is just like looking at it, looking at the bride and the groom, is just like, oh, I guess we have an unexpected guest. Just continues on swimming. It's funny as. Imagine that, like getting a date, getting it all sorted, booking out a part of the reserve, and then it fucking floods. So then you have to do the wedding in flood water. They did it though, and you know what? Fucking good on them. Fucking good on them for doing that. I thought that was funny. Anyway, yeah. So it's just I was just watching it. It was just like everything's chaos, and then like looking at the comments, and I'm just like, "Will you just shut the fuck up?"
Yeah.
The people that run like 7 years, 9 years, and 10 years, and that, do they just sometimes just like? Because I know they're smart people, like they aren't stupid, and they know that what they're doing is stupid. But like, do they just stop and think like maybe we should change instead of clickbait? Let's just like, I don't know, have some integrity. What are the days of integrity?
Well, it's they're smart, but their own intelligence ultimately works against them because they look at statistics, trying to match those statistics, and that's the end of the that's their bottom line,
and
right?
But
one thing they don't think about is how their bottom line will be perceived.
How
and
that's where the disconnect between them and the people is just massive, and like
that's where it works against them.
If you ever talk to someone in media and even in entertainment, like acting, for example, if you ever meet someone, they are so disconnected from the normal people. It's
I'm not even surprised.
And they generally are like ignorant to a lot of different things because they're just so disconnected. Because the job is so competitive that they basically live and breathe the shit, and they never really go outside of their little world because they can't. Because anytime they spend out of their little world, that's time lost and networking and getting work and all that sort of stuff. Because it is a very competitive and hard job, especially in media, because there's always someone gunning for your job. If you slip up, someone will be there to fucking make you look bad, and then they make them look good, so then that way they can get your job because people get fired from all the time. That's why like
What
we're the people now.
What a horrible existence. What's the hell's the point?
Yeah, fucking oath it is. It's shit. I don't get it. But if you talk to these people, like they have no clue about what's going on in their own community. They could be in their community, the next door neighbor could get stabbed, and they would have no clue. They would just look at all the police cars and go, "Oh, what's going on?" And then just like go to work and just like forget nothing ever happened. Like the people I've met are exactly like that. They're so caught up in their world that they're just disconnected from everybody else. And so when they make these decisions and they write up how they're going to do the reports and stuff, because obviously this is all pre-planned and scripted and everything like that. They don't understand. Well, they do understand, but they don't consider what it's going to happen to the people watching this, the ignorant people that do take their word as gospel and serious, the people that were panic buying and all that sort of shit. The problem with the panic buying is it will take like a couple people to do it, and then every normal person's like, "Fuck's sake, I'm gonna have to go stock up now because are we gonna fucking take it all?" And so that's what happens. Is like you get the few dumbasses that think they're gonna not have any supplies, and then not everyone else is like, "Oh shit, if I don't do it now, I'm gonna have nothing." And that's exactly what happened in COVID. That's why, like, when I went to get toilet paper, I would buy one roll of toilet rolls at one place, and then I would have to go to another one because I don't know. It was so hard to get bog roll that I had to pre-plan fucking getting bog roll. Even if like I had to get one of those little cheap shitty ones that feels like sandpaper on your ass, like I'd get that because it was the only thing I could get. I was lucky though because my mum works in supermarkets, so all of us kids were just like, "Can you just fucking put some aside for us and stuff like that?" And so that's what we'd do. So then that way, at least we still had bog roll. Like we didn't stockpile it. We only kept what we needed, but it was like it was always forward thinking. Okay, I need to make sure I can get this. And then when it comes to like food, you couldn't plan meals because you didn't know what the fuck was going to be there. So you ended up just like some days it was just like, oh, hot dogs because there's no meat. So we ended up just eating hot dogs with no veg because there was no meat, there's no veg, there's no frozen stuff, so you couldn't have any peas of corn. So you ended up just eating hot dogs or tuna noodles or frits. Actually, no, you couldn't have frits because there's no bread. Like, it's just and what did it prove? It proved that everyone's a fucking idiot, and it was all for nothing. I still think that we shouldn't have locked down over COVID.
No, I've heard a lot of people, and myself included, a lot of people are of the same opinion.
Because the people that were going to die still died in the end. Unfortunately, a relative of my grandfather died of COVID as well. Like the lockdowns didn't help him; he died in the end anyway. And the nursing homes were the most prone to getting it anyway. So like all that biosecurity and stuff still didn't work. The people still got sick. People still affected others. I mean, it was good in the sense that like I could go to them from work in 20 minutes instead of an hour. That was nice. And it worked in the sense that I didn't get the flu at all that year because everyone was locked inside. So that was nice. But it didn't work in the sense that COVID still spread around. It still spreads around like wildfire now, but now it's like, it's just part of life now. But you know,
it's just like common cold.
It does fuck you up though because my lung capacity, since I got sick with it for the first time this year, my lung capacity is still not 100%. I don't think it ever will actually, because I've been doing footy training and I just feel like I cannot get the air that I need. Like I'm not as fit as I should be, but I shouldn't have issues breathing. That's new to me.
I think I actually got the Delta strain a couple of years ago. That sucked. But I think I've like fully recovered. Any effect COVID had on me, I reckon I've fully recovered from because like I feel the same, really.
Yeah, the problem is it has destroyed so many lives and economy because of it. And I think that even though we did the lockdowns and stuff, it still spread like crazy because people weren't listening to it anyway.
Right.
And I just, because of our population the way it is, I just wonder. I would love to do a what if scenario of how, if we didn't do it, I wonder how bad it would have been. Like, would we? I don't think we would have been like New York, where we would have had to have cargo containers full of bodies. I don't think we ever would have gotten to that stage. I think honestly, if we just did mandatory social distancing and stuff like that, but everyone still resumed work and everyone was educated on how to prevent the spread, public transport was restricted to numbers and all that sort of stuff, have more buses on the road instead, we might have been able to just sort of keep coaxing by without too much hassle. But I don't know. They thought they did what was best for them. I know that if we were to get like something like a zombie virus, we'd be fucked anyway. So
Yeah.
so anyway,
Curious to see how different the economy would have been if we just kept going with it. Because I'm curious to see
well, Americans,
if instead of people dying from COVID, they die from all the homelessness.
homelessness has been, and suicide from depression as well. Homelessness is bad now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's what I was mostly concerned about with
COVID destroyed the renting market and the housing market.
Oh yeah,
because heaps of these Chinese companies are just buying up land left, right, and center, and then subdividing it and whatnot, and not renting it out. So renting kind of just like went off because people wanted to get rid of their houses because they weren't getting rent. So they were like, well, I might as well just sell it. So they sold it all, and then it was bought up, and then that house never was rented out again, or that house was turned into many houses, never rented out again. And so, yeah, there's less renting markets, and then people who are renting are now struggling because, they lost their jobs because most of them probably work in hospitality, be honest.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And, they lost their jobs, so they couldn't pay their rent, so they ended up getting evicted. And there's still some people that I know that are living in their cars because they've been working the whole time, but they got kicked out because the landlord sold the house, put the house in the market, sold the house, so they had to get out, couldn't find a rental place for themselves. They might have been too picky, I'm not too sure, but anyway, they couldn't get a rental place, and they still work full time. They live in their car, and they are struggling to find a rental place, especially hard for a single male, because for some reason they're probably the hardest to find renting with. I don't know. A lot of people don't like single males. I don't know why. But anyway.
Oh, you're a single male. You're going to destroy my house.
I don't know why. I don't know. To me, you get fucking shit renters at all walks of life. Just because they're a family doesn't mean they're going to be a good renter. Just because they're a single female doesn't mean they're going to be good. It doesn't. It's literally case by case. You don't know until, unfortunately, you bite the bullet. Unless they look like a meth head, then obviously don't give it to them.
Yeah.
Yes, judge a book by its cover in that circumstance. Unless they seem like well put together, but even then, like sometimes your gut instinct's right. Yeah, so they're struggling, and then obviously there's heaps of others as well, and then the government kind of just sort of threw away all their emergency housing plans, and so all those people in emergency housing are now on the streets, and yeah, it's actually gotten a lot worse. It's not so bad here in the country because the country's lovely, but when I go back home and I visit my family and that, it's homeless people.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I wouldn't want to live in the city nowadays. There's no way.
Yeah, no, it's not nice. But yeah, it was all of that. Didn't help by the media. The media fucking carried on during that as well.
Yeah.
It just really pisses me off. But on a different note, Spliffy, what is at the moment, and I say this with a light grain of salt because I don't believe it. I think it's a load of shit. Well, not a load of shit, but I think it's not exactly true. What is the world's most sold car at the moment?
Well, I think it's actually a Tesla.
Hey, you got it. Tesla Y, the Y model.
Oh, the Y model. Yeah, right.
Which I call bullshit.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
I think it is the world's most sold Western car.
Oh, you're doing this, are you, in the world? Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that
Yeah,
makes sense.
because when
Well,
I was looking at the stats, right,
yeah.
none of the Chinese cars were on there. Like they're Chinese only cars.
Right. Oh, so you think they've cherry picked the data?
Fucking oath they have, because
Oh,
I
okay.
know for a fact that one of the Chinese makes, they are only made in China,
Right.
make like something ridiculous. It's like over 1 million cars a year,
Yeah, right. Holy crap.
and they sell like 800,000. They almost sell as much as they make a year.
Okay, so one thing I'm curious about that. I wonder if the statistic is cherry picked in quotation marks.
That's what I think.
Um,
'Cause-
because
and then-
what
and
I'm thinking about that is, does the vehicle have to be available globally in order for it to qualify for
Well,
this?
no, it's just global sales. So it's just
Yeah,
sales
okay.
globally as a whole. But
Right.
like I said, technically this Chinese man, I can't remember the name of it. And this is the really fucking I'm going to go down a conspiracy theory. All right.
Okay.
Since Tesla announced that their car's the number one sold, I've
Yep.
been trying to find the information because Top Gear did a segment on this car like a few years ago. Grand Tour as well did it like 2 years ago. And they had a list of the world's car manufacturers, and even I myself last year looked at the world's car manufacturers and saw the raw data, right? And I saw the, Toyota and all that sort of stuff. They're all up there, but like, and then the Chinese, there was like 4 Chinese cars that only sold in China, and it's fucking crazy how many they sell a year. It's ridiculous. Because China outpopulates every single country, like
Except for India.
well, except for India. But my point is like they sell shitloads because there was even like a few Indian companies on there that sell shitloads as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, since this information's come out, do you think I can find that same fucking report? No.
No.
And every single report conveniently has those car brands not on it. I can't find those car brand figures. And I go searching for those car brands. I can't find them on Google. It's fucking weird, man.
I guess it's time to start
so-
ignoring that report.
It's so weird. It's almost like Google's been paid off to fucking block it.
Could be.
I'm not joking. I can't even get on their website. I cannot. I know where it is. If I go in incognito mode and I disable location, I can get it. But if I am in normal Google, that's region locked, can't find it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it probably is.
I could find it last year.
They probably have been paid off because, as from what I understand, it was a number of years ago that net neutrality was ended in a lot of places. So
in Australia,
that's
included.
probably why. Yeah, probably.
No, remember there was a whole shit fight about it. They were getting rid of net neutrality.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my point is, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Especially
Don't believe believe
It's,
1 or 2% of what you see on the internet. Don't believe you should not believe what you see on the internet.
So like I couldn't last year because when I found out about this car brand, I was like, oh, I want to actually have a look at it. So I got onto the Chinese website of that car manufacturer, and I was able to find their stats and all that sort of stuff. And that's where I found out they make like 1 million cars a year. It's crazy, and it's like it's a small little hatchback too. It's not like a big car. But this year, since this Tesla Model Y thing's come out, that their website's blocked. I can't get on it. I can't
Like,
find
at all.
I can't get on it at all. I can on incognito mode. And I can if you have a VPN, you probably can as well. But it's just like I don't know if it's true or not. Because Google's now on this new AI algorithm, it could be simply like the AI, because there's so many search results about the Model Y and the stats that they've put out, that maybe the AI has made Google tailored to me, so then I can't physically see it even if I go looking for it. I don't. Maybe like buried it really deep. It might not be just like Elon's paid it off, but it's highly likely that he has, because I mean, if you
I mean, why
claim
wouldn't
you
he?
have the world's most sold car, and then someone comes along and goes, actually, there's a few Chinese manufacturers that do that, wouldn't it be just not hard for him to just say, I'll give you like X amount of money, Google, if you just make mine top of the page, which is exactly what they do because they are an advertisement company.
Right.
At the end of the day, you pay to be on the top of the search list.
Yeah.
And so that's probably what he's done. So then that way the true figures are buried beneath. But he probably, the Model Y would be the most sold, like, out of the rest of manufacturers, without doubt. And it would be the most sold globally in the sense of the, like,
What's available? Because by the sounds
yeah.
of it, if that Chinese car is only available in China, does that disqualify it from the list? I think
Yeah,
is what I'm curious
if
about.
you pick and choose, yeah, you are right on that sense. Because it is what's available, but I don't know, man. Like, I also think that if you buy a Tesla, you buy into that brand and the ecosystem of theirs, and you can get kind of stuck in it. But yeah,
Well, I don't. I don't own anything Tesla wise or anything that's been made
yeah.
by Elon Musk's business.
There's still a shit car.
I wouldn't surprise me.
They haven't changed. They still, after 100,000 Ks, their door trim will still just rattle loose. If you slam their door too hard, the door trim will break. Like,
yeah, right.
they haven't improved at all. They've improved the technology and they've improved like the battery capacities and stuff like that to give them more range, and they've improved the availability of charging stations and stuff like that.
Right.
But the quality control's still not there. The thing is that a lot of people get stuck behind, if it looks clean and fancy, they think it's like quality, but it's not. Like,
No, I've always hated that sentiment so much. It's one
and
of the reasons why I fucking
yeah.
hate Apple's laptops.
That's why people like get suckered into like Kias now, or now Ssangyong LDVs, because they're wrapped with technology. Technology's gotten so much cheaper now that you can make a car full of tech and make it look flashy, make it look high end, and it looks good. But the quality is still not there. The plastic is still not the same ABS as a high-end car. The clips are a lot thinner and will deteriorate over time. The engine is more complicated because they wanted to save costs on building an intercooler system, so they put a water-cooled system instead and have more complications, which end up going bad. I'm talking about LDV, by the way, which end up going bad over time. I've seen heaps of their intercooling system. So they have an water cooler system. So instead of an intercooler like a conventional car normally does, where they have an intercooler at the front of the car, you got turbo intake, intercooler pipes. You know, the turbo sucks the air in from the intake, and then it goes through the intercooler, cools it down through the air of traveling, and then it goes into the intake manifold. The LDVs, instead of doing that, what they do is they actually suck air in through the turbo, and then it goes into a water cooling system. It is actually pretty smart, but it's just too complicated for what that car is. And it will spray a mist of water into the cooling system, like into the intake system, to cool the air down that then goes into the intake manifold. That's how it works.
And then goes into the engine?
And it goes into the engine.
Wouldn't that go into the combustion chamber?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like misting. It's like it's the same as driving through like rainy weather. Like you do get water mist you do get moisture coming through the normal way. Yeah, it's not like to the point that it's like literally sucking in fucking water and then you get a hydrolock. No, it's not that. It's it's a good system for high performance cars. but it's not a good system for reliability because it's just one extra thing to go wrong, one extra thing to link. The one good thing the LDV have done with it though is it's got its own separate water reservoir. So if it does leak, it's not going to affect the cooling system, which I do like that they've done that. But it's just one extra thing to go wrong. That's all. It could possibly fail as well and dump all its fucking water into the intake. I mean, that could happen.
That would suck.
Yeah, that would really blow up your motor.
Yeah.
Well, it might have fail safes. I haven't really looked into it that much, but when we see them come in, it's interesting. And they also have exhaust brakes too, which is weird on some of their bigger cars. So like their full drives have an exhaust.
Brakes?
Yeah, big cars have an exhaust brake.
You mean like
Like a truck.
Yeah, like what are the
Yeah.
Jake brakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it creates back pressure to slow the motor down instead of using
Yeah,
brakes.
okay.
Yeah, it's really, really fucking trippy when you see this LDV van go down the road and you go, you're like, what?
What the fuck? I didn't realize vans were so hardcore.
Yeah, I actually don't mind them. They're actually not that bad of a car. I personally wouldn't buy one, but for fleet sense, they're actually not that bad, and their parts are available as well.
Oh, good. That's always a really good part.
Yeah,
good
it's
thing.
not that hard to get their parts, which is good. Great Wall's different story. They're shit.
Yeah,
And
well,
Sawyer
Great
on
Wall
all
is
them,
Great
yeah.
Wall. I really
Yeah.
want that Toyota Challenger though.
Yeah, exactly. Was
I
Dogs
want
right?
to say, give me like, I will take big, bulky, boxy looking over sleek and slim over any day. I don't know, because there's my personal bias that if it looks big and bulky, it's reliable. It's not like designed to be crap, essentially. It looks nice, but it's not reliable. Give me big, bulky. I will drive a brick if I have to.
I'll show you. Yeah, so I'll show you a picture. So this is the LDV's intercooler warting system.
Yep.
So this is the intercooler here, and you can so it has water. The water pipes come through here. I still don't know 100% sure how it works. I don't know whether it actually sprays water in the intercooler or whether it is like a radiator that has water traveling around it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too sure on that. I think it is actually a water to air intercooler system, like it sprays water in it. I'm not too sure, but that's it. That's on top of an LDV motor, the little 2-liter motor. And
G'day,
like,
dogs.
This is the so that's the reservoir there for it. So when we get a car in like a van or the full drive, you see it on top of there. And we've seen probably 3 out of 5 have warranty issues with that system.
Oh, I love warranty issues.
So yeah, we obviously don't deal with that because, you know, we're not an LDV dealer, but yeah. So you can see it up there. I don't know. The way I look at it, it's just another thing to go wrong. The reason why they did it is cost savings. It's cheaper to run that than it is to run intercooler.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because,
so
because it's less it's less piping. It's it's a lot less piping to run that.
I would love to see the sales of. I mean, in a hypothetical future situation where one person or a company makes the most reliable, the easiest to repair car, and just see how well the car sells.
It would sell really well, but you wouldn't make money long term on it because the problem is car manufacturers do purposely make cars to be not reliable.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. That's the frustration that I have.
Take the old mighty fucking Toyota. I'm going to piss off a lot of people saying this, all right? The 79 series Land Cruiser is probably an incredibly reliable car that breaks a lot. What makes the 79 series Land Cruiser reliable is the fact that everything is serviceable. So you can replace parts, you can fix parts easier and stuff like that. But what makes it unreliable is that everything is serviceable.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so let's just go wheel bearings. On a 79 series Land Cruiser or any 76, doesn't matter, that the 70 series variant, you have to do the wheel bearings every 20,000 Ks. If you do
What?
not do and it's like that's over $1,000 service when you start doing it. It's over $1,000 service.
Yeah,
and
right.
when you do and you have to do it because if you have a stock car with stock rims, it's not as bad, and you're not towing, it's not as bad. But as soon as you
Right.
start going bigger tires, which everyone does, what happens if you miss that 20,000 kilometer service? The wheels will come off. I'm not joking. They
Wonderful.
do. They fucking do. They come off.
You can't like
Yeah.
substitute a different wheel bearing design.
Nope.
What?
They designed that on purpose. To design
my
that, so
God.
then that way you have to do a wheel bearing, replace the seals and gaskets, and then repack and readjust it every 20,000 Ks.
Ew.
No reason for doing that is so then that way you can keep the maintenance up, which is good for them because obviously the more money for them, but also it is good in the sense that if you own one in the middle of the sticks, you can buy part replacements and you get breaking down, you can get up and going on the go. You can do it on the fly, which a lot of
Right.
people do. Like mine vehicles and stuff like that, they break down all the time, and so it's easy for the mechanics up there to be able to get the car and keep it going. So it's reliable in the sense that the parts are made to be serviceable and replaceable, but it's not reliable in the sense that the wheel bearings can fall off if you don't service every 20,000 Ks.
Oh my God.
Or you can the hubs seal. Hubs fucking break all the time. The auto locking hubs, they break all the time. Especially if they're not, if someone doesn't know what they're doing and they reassemble it the wrong way, fuck it. And once they fuck that, it fuck the axle. They're good when they're running, when they're maintained. The trick is with 70 series Land Cruisers is if you own one, you have to maintain them. You have to do every 10,000 K interval. You have to service the wheel bearings every 20,000, and every 40,000 you have to do a major service. Do all your fluids and stuff like that. Don't do that; it won't be a reliable car. Same with the Hiluxes. Don't do any of this stuff. You will not have a reliable car. And the manufacturers do that, so then that way you have to go to them to get serviced. Well, that's their goal anyway. And it's easier for cars to break down, so then that way you have no choice but to take it to them to get it fixed. And then when they fix it, it's really expensive because you haven't been maintaining your car, so everything's breaking. So
I really wish I could just build my own car.
I wish I could. That'd be
And
fun.
just build my own car and
Yeah.
just be done with it.
Yeah. But yeah, the days of reliability are just out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can just keep driving and ignore everything if you really want to do. A lot of
Yeah.
people do it. I've seen people with their wheels are literally like driving down the road. So if you want to do that, do it. That's fine. Just don't go crying when you get the expensive bill and you have to fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I've found my car to be horrifically reliable.
you're the only Astra owner to ever say that.
I love my car so much. I don't know why, like how it's gotten this far. It's up to
It's just crazy to me.
463,000 kilometers.
What? 400,063 kilometers. You serious? Are you fucking pulling my
I'm
leg?
dead fucking serious.
What
Hang
the
on.
fuck have you? I know you've done a lot of work on it, but what the fuck?
Hang on 1 second. I feel like I need to send you proof. Hang on. Where is it? Let me have a look here. Just give me a second. I will find, because what I do religiously, I don't know why I do this, but I just do it religiously.
How often do you service your car?
Every 10,000 kilometers, so about 4 times a year.
So you do it the correct way. Every 10,000 every 6 months, or every 10,000 a year?
Ish.
Well, I suppose you would
No,
never go
no,
by
no.
time anyway, will you?
No, I can't go
Yeah.
by time. Otherwise, I'd be servicing every 20,000. So I have to do it every about every Every
Yeah.
2.5 to 3 months, I get my car
Well,
serviced.
the way servicing works is every X amount of Ks or time, whatever comes first. So, for example,
it's always case for me.
yeah, because you obviously travel 30 minutes every to and from work every day. Well,
No, I
more,
travel an
more.
hour. I
Well,
do
no, there you
2
go.
hours of driving every day.
Oh, there you go. So that you rack up the Ks. Fucking, that's nuts. Jesus.
Yeah. Let's see.
I've never
have a look.
known an Astra to have that many Ks. They usually die at 250. The
Yeah,
motors
there
end
you
up
go.
blowing up.
There you go. There's a little thing for you.
Fucking
Discord.
Jesus Christ. That's impressive.
I love my car. It's I thought it was going to die about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was on its way out because it was just it was like beyond lumpy. It was just so uneven and just like you just get this random like it would just suddenly go into what is it?
You're going to make the 500,000 mark, eh?
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. If you keep
I'm
it
I'm
maintained
I'm
like
trying
that,
I'm trying to
that's
get to a
nuts.
million kilometers.
I don't think you will not make it
I'm
to
gonna
a
get
million.
it to a million kilometers.
I'm sorry, but your engine will give out before that happens.
Nah, I'm gonna get to a million kilometers. I don't give a fuck.
When you eventually get to another car, what would you
Yes.
get? What would you get?
Toyota Challenger. Even if I have to illegally import it, I don't give a fuck. I want one so bad.
What the fuck is a Toyota Challenger?
It's the one we were looking at a couple of weeks ago. The one that you can't get in Australia for some annoying reason. Oh no, the Toyota Champ. The Toyota Champ. That's the one.
That's what I was thinking. It was like Challenger. Challenger's a Dodge.
Yeah, I was thinking about Champ. I meant to say. Oh, I didn't even mean to. I meant to say Challenger, but I mixed it up with Champ, and that's why I said Challenger when I should have said Champ. I want one of these vehicles so fucking bad that I will do anything for one.
I reckon you can get. I honestly reckon you can get one in.
I reckon I could too.
It won't be sold. Like you won't be able to go to a dealership and get one, but you'll be able to import it. Because
I would.
Because you can get key trucks and stuff like that in, like modern key trucks, like Daihatsu and stuff like that. You can import modern key trucks, and there's no difference between them and these.
Yeah.
And like, they still have airbags and ABS braking, so they'll still be safety rated. So yeah,
I just don't understand why they can't sell these.
No, they would be able to. The only reason why they wouldn't be able to get them to the country is because of our stupid safety laws.
Yes, probably that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't understand like what safety laws they would be not working on. But yeah, either it would be either that or a Daihatsu Hi-Jet van. Either one of those two. I would be very happy with the Daihatsu Hi-Jet van. Just because they look like they're a lot of fun to buzz around in.
Yeah.
And I would just do recordings all the time in the back.
Yeah, I like the Esky ones. Little Esky tray in the back.
But yeah, I want like I just want some sort of utility car.
I would get one of these. I would get one of these, and then I'll put an Ellis in it.
Yeah, I would thoroughly enjoy one of these vehicles.
I would love to make this a rear-mounted motor. Have a motor in the tray, like this big fuck-off motor in the back, and just have it just be a monster.
My dad often judges me when I tell him what my dream car is, being a Daihatsu, a Hi-Jet. Like he often judges me because he grew up with like, oh, back in my day we had V8s and 5 billion fucking horsepower and whatnot. This thing has a max speed of 120 kilometers an hour, and I fucking want one so bad.
Well, in your defense, though, how many roads are 120 kilometers per hour?
None.
Yeah, exactly. 110 is fine. That's not its max.
110 is fine. I don't understand what everyone's problem is.
It might be sitting there going at $5,000, going ding, 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 ding. That's all right. when you go up a hill, you might make it.
Just shift down. Ah, but they look so. One thing that makes me feel confident about owning a car is the perception that I could just put it in my pocket and just start walking somewhere if I want to, if I really felt like it. And the Daihatsu Hijet just like is literally the definition of that because it is such a small car. I have seen them in the wild and they are amazing.
They are pretty cool. I've seen a lot of a lot of the Utes are like really famous for some of the builders and stuff that I used to know back when I was working in Door Hardware. In the warehouse at a door hardware company, and like there's one guy had a fleet of the Suzuki Key trucks.
Yeah,
and he loved them. He absolutely loved them because they could carry a ton. Like they could carry a fair amount of weight.
Hell yeah.
He's like, the motor's not big. Like you're not going to get anywhere fast. But he's like, they're reliable.
It's not the motor.
Like he's like, they're reliable as anything. He's like, there's no power in them, so they can't die on you. Because that's the reason why. That's the reason why most like your older, like your 1HZ motors and all that sort of stuff, like in the old Land Cruisers and Hiluxes and stuff. The reason why those motors last like to a million Ks is because they have very little power, and they never went anywhere near their peak. So like they could just keep chugging on. They could literally keep going with like half their cylinders working because they had no power to begin with. Their tolerances are very high, so they just work. I personally wouldn't buy one because it's just gotten so expensive to maintain them and just parts. And I like technology, so I like having working aircon, and I like having reverse camera and all that sort of shit. I mean, you can do that in them, but it's just aftermarket shit. But I do value that they are a reliable motor because they just keep on ticking. With modern motors, they're so powerful and they're all 4 cylinders that they just blow up because you're asking a 4-cylinder to do what a V8 does naturally.
Yeah.
And so that's why they blow up, because they're always at their peak and their tolerances are so low that it doesn't take much for them to blow up. And then,
I'll let you finish your point. Sorry.
Well, my point is like an engine that can rev to like 80,000 RPM isn't going to be as reliable as a car that can do only 40,000.
Yeah, that makes sense because like metal ultimately does have a tolerance and whatnot. But the thing that sort of makes me not pay too much attention to like the power of the engine is that cars, like the gearbox needed to be invented for a reason. So the majority of your power is coming out of your gearbox essentially. And then and so like, you'll have like your first gear with the most amount of torque to actually get the damn thing moving, and then eventually the torque goes down with each increasing gear to increase the overall top speed. But like that's a whole system and a whole design that needed to be implemented in the first place, because cars in of themselves aren't powerful enough to get the car moving and get the car it's like an engine can't do its thing on its own. It needs a gearbox. So why not utilize that and make a fucking let's just say like a mid-range engine and combine it with like a really good gearbox, and you've probably got something that'll last you forever.
Well, that's pretty much what they've done with the 4 cylinders though. That's why they've gone all automatic and stuff, because an automatic gearbox can get more out of a 4-cylinder than a manual.
Right.
That's why they have more gears in them now. So then that way they just have a nice smooth transition of power. So then that way the engine doesn't have to work as hard.
Yeah.
But they still make that engine do like 140 kilowatts or fucking 165 or 200 kilowatts in some cars. Like, that's a lot of power for 4 cylinders, just saying.
Yeah,
but anyway.
it doesn't need to be that powerful. Just make it,
Well,
like figure out what 110, where's 110, make it slightly more powerful than that, and that'll do the trick.
It does need to be that powerful because it's expected to do more. Like, for example, full drives, for example, like most full drives these days are 4 cylinders. Like 6 cylinders are kind of like, there's some around, but there's not many because of emissions. And Toyota's now starting to do away with their V8s. They're still expected to tow like 3 ton, 3.5 ton. I wouldn't do it, but they are expected to do that. And so they have to think of ways to have this engine pass emissions, have it powerful enough to be able to tow. It's just
Why don't you have like a more powerful gearbox?
well, that's why they've got.
Or am I just not understanding something correctly?
No, you're not understanding. You still need the engine. You can have as good as a gearbox as you want, but still need the power to pull it. And you can't. There's a balance. You can't like. There's certain gearboxes you can get. Like let's just talk racing, right?
Right.
I was listening to a boss explain a particular brand of gearbox. I'm not going to say which one it is because I can't remember exactly. I think it was a power something. Anyway, he was saying that to run this gearbox, you need an engine that's got like, this is completely like not exactly quoting or anything like that. Is something around like 1,000 horse.
Right.
If you don't have 1,000 horse engine, you cannot use this gearbox because you need that power to run this gearbox. And
why is that the case?
Probably something to do with the ratios.
But wouldn't the ratios mean you don't need as powerful of a gearbox to? I mean, an engine.
It's not set up for that. So you would need 1,000 horse to be able to turn the fucking thing. Basically, is what he was saying.
Okay.
Because it's designed as a race box, so it's designed to have power at an optimum, like to give you power at optimum ratios. But to be able to do that, you need to have an engine that can be able to turn it effectively. So you need like 1,000 horse engine essentially, and I think that's the same with gearing in general. It's like you can't just slap any engine to any gearbox and expect it to work the best. There's probably I'm not a mechanical engineer, no idea, but I assume that when car manufacturers make an engine, that's why a lot of engines these days aren't actually new. The old engines have just revisited them or refreshed them. It's the same with gearboxes. A lot of gearboxes aren't really that new. They're just refreshed or upgraded. These automatic ones are a bit new, but they have to build one around the other platform. So, for example, they have an engine that they know and how it works and its power and all that sort of stuff and what they can do to make it better and blah, blah, blah. So then they build a gearbox to optimize for that. But you can't use a different engine. Say, for example, that same gearbox, you can't just chuck a fucking V8. Yeah, exactly what Stoke said.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
gearbox is designed to keep motors in the optimal operating revs, etc. Okay.
That's why, like, a lot of people that do conversions and stuff, they run into the problem where they chuck like an LS on a gearbox that can't.
What is LS?
LS is the Chevy V8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can't. Some gearboxes, you know what? The biggest fucking example of this is a 1980s 75 series Land Cruiser. The old Tojos. Not the old Tojos, but the old Land Cruisers before 2000 when the 79 series came out. So it's the year before the 79 series Land Cruiser. They came out with a piece of shit gearbox system. The gearbox and transfer case is all one system. You can't replace one or the other. They're one complete unit.
Wow.
And they're incredibly crap because they're only designed to have a naturally aspirated inline six running them. People these days chuck fucking turbos on them and expect the engine to run fine. But what actually happens is it actually blows the gearbox up because the gearbox can't handle it. So, it happens all the time, and then obviously they get the gearbox replaced, but then the rebuild is like you have no warranty because you're putting on a turboed car. But it would have been a lot cheaper for them to just buy a 80 series Land Cruiser with a turbo, which has the same motor, than it would be to just buy the 75 series. Some people do a conversion where they try and swap the 80 series motor and gearbox into the 75 series Land Cruiser. I could have the 75 series wrong, but I'm just saying it as that. But it doesn't actually fit. the mounting system doesn't fit the gearbox, so you could get it to fit if you had money, but it doesn't fit. Can't just do a straight swap. You can swap the motors around, can't swap the gearbox, which is weird. Okay. So you're better off just buying an 80 series Land Cruiser at that point, in my opinion. But that's what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of math, and then you've also got your diffs as well. Your diff ratios are really important, which is why a Pintara is fast on the straight than a Skyline 31, because of Pintara diff ratios.
One USV.
It's a 1UZ.
1UZ.
It's a V8, yeah. 1UZ
okay.
is Toyota's V8. And then you got the 2UZs. Okay. Yeah. It's a petrol V8. No, good motor. And that's why you also blew up your gearbox, isn't it? Which, when are you going to get that fixed? Anyway, mind you, though, his gearbox lasted quite a while of constant thrashing, so it's an automatic.
After 3 years of abuse.
Yeah, the old bloody 4-cylinder Toyota Surf gearbox handles pretty good. But if he was to do that say, for example, he was to do an LS conversion on his Hilux Surf, and he was to strap that fucking motor, an LS1, to that gearbox, it would just break like that. The 1UZ is a nice motor because it's actually small. It's a small block V8. It's not very big. It has power, but it's not like crazy or anything like that. It's a really nice sort of power. It's got a really nice power power band for like its size. So it's good enough that you can do wheel spins and you can have a little bit of fun with it, but it's not crazy enough that you start breaking all the drive lines continuously like you do on an LS. So I think that motor conversion on the Surf was actually like a good one, because it's not it can take the abuse without breaking easy. It can last longer than, say, if you were to put an LS on it, because people do that. People make mod plates where they stick like a different motor to a gearbox that's not designed for that, and then they break it. That's why like people with Datos, like Datsuns, would put like a Holden motor in it, like a V8 or V6 motor, and they'll just chuck the whole gearbox and cut the firewall out. And
I love over engineering and just I love over engineering for reliability. That's my favorite thing to do.
That's the best thing to do. My boss's philosophy: if you're gonna do it, you do it right the first time, so then it will last you forever. Otherwise, it's gonna keep breaking. You're not spending more in the long run.
Yeah.
As soon as you cut corners, just has issues. Like one of the guys at Dirt Circuit, he's got a stock LS1 motor in his Scorpion, and the only difference is got really high quality head bolts, and like he's got high quality components and bolting the motor together, keeping the motor together, and he's got many records with that one motor stock. And then you got other people that like soup their motors up and he's beating them, and they just can't get over that. He's got all this power, and it's not because he's souped up his motor, it's because he's got components that can handle more stress at longer periods of time versus their motor, where they put their foot down and their motor blows up because it's fucking everything's at peak. And when you go at that sort of type of power, and then you give it a bit of abuse, and eventually something goes bang because it's not designed to. Drag cars only really do a couple runs and then they do a rebuild. They're not designed to be reliable. They're designed to be as fast as possible, and then they go bang, and then they're like, another motor, or replace all the broken parts. But if you're racing and doing endurance stuff, you want reliability. So you want the power to get out of the corners as fast as possible, but you want to be able to do it safely so you can do it repeatedly over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's different styles of racing, and the same with drifting as well. Like drifting, you don't need to have 1,000 horsepower motor. You just need to be able to have the power to be able to lose traction in a controlled manner.
Yeah.
That's why in America, like putting LS in their Skylines and shit are so popular because they can do that with an LS easily versus a RB20 motor or a SR20 motor. Because it is easier to do it in an LS because you don't have to do much. Just chuck the motor in and away you go. But with an SR20 or a RB20, you need to do a bit more to the motor to be able to get that torque to be able to get it to spin out controllably. And I say controllably is when you want it, not when you don't want it.
Yeah.
so yeah, it's. I'm not an expert. I'm just going. This is purely information from many years of talking to people who actually know what they're talking about. I'm just basically offhand recalling what they've told me over the years.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would love to build a car.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be great.
It would be great. I would love to do that, but I don't have money, so.
Well, I mean,
it's an expensive fucking hobby, that's for sure.
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, computer hobby's just as expensive.
Yeah, computer, audio, and whatnot.
Well, did I show you? So I haven't showed you what I got for my birthday yesterday, did I?
I'm gonna say no.
So this is what I got given. I can't. Oh, hang on a minute. That's as far as I can go because of the cord. Hang on a minute. There we go.
That's your HOTUS, is it?
Yes, this is my HOTUS mount. So this is my throttle for when I'm space or flight simming. I want to upgrade this to have a dual one. It's just the TM6100. But so there's mounts to multiple different platforms, and then it just mounts on the desk and you just pull the lever up, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
No, it looks interesting. Looks fun.
Yeah, it is. It's quick and easy to unmount and mount. So, and then the other present I got was a the other two presents you got me, Space Sim 2, which is fucking. We were looking at it yesterday.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to get sink my teeth into it as well.
And then I also got a while ago. I got it though, but I got a multi-tool, so I can start doing wood project stuff. But
yeah, I bought one of those a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you got a multi-tool, did you?
Yeah.
You got the DeWalt one, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, that one that's just you press the thing and then it just pops the blade off.
Yes.
Yeah. I've got the Makita Starlock. That thing's incredible. You don't feel any vibration in it. It's not that loud either. But yeah, I got it so then that way I can do, like, for example, if I need to cut out a strike or something like that for a door lock, it'll be handy for that.
Yeah, what have I done with it?
And, yeah, all sorts of stuff.
I've cut out metal channels that hold up gyprock. It's really good for that.
Because you can get it so precise and you can cut the exact hole you need with it as well.
Yes.
Like about it. Yeah.
It's really, really, really handy in that way.
But yeah, I'm really glad I got the Makita one. It's the new Starlock system one, so I can get a long.
Yeah,
I can get
the
a long.
DeWalt has Starlock as well.
Yeah, they both do. Bosch, DeWalt, and Makita. But yeah, I got it and I tried it out, and fucking it cuts really quick too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I need to get an orbital sander, a belt sander. I'm gonna get a powered circular drop down saw eventually. I'll get like probably either Makita or it'll be a corded one. It won't be battery.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be a Makita one because to be honest, Makita's woodworking tools are just good. I'll probably get a Makita barrel jigsaw. I want a barrel jigsaw instead of the top handle one. And I want the Milwaukee rear handled circular saw because I want the blade to be on the left side so I can see when I'm cutting. I don't like the traditional rear handed ones. Top handled circular saws, they're a pain in the ass to me. I've never liked them because like when you're cutting, you're always having to look on the right hand side because I'm right handed. So the rear handle was left, like on the left side, so it was great for right handed people. yeah, I really would want to expand on my tools. I've finally fixed out my pack out, so I got like socket organizers and stuff like that. So that's cool.
Oh, nice.
So my drawers are a lot nice-ish looking. They actually were organized before I put them in it, but at least now I know what sockets I'm grabbing because the socket organizers have they're magnetic and they also have the sizes on them, so I know what size they are, so I can just grab them instead of. Is that a 17? No, that's a 16. Is it 17? No, it's 16. Oh.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I hate doing that. Anyway, so yeah, so things. Yeah, it was a good birthday yesterday. Had a lot of fun. Didn't go camping like originally planned, but had a call out in the morning. CFS. It was a few firebugs running around. I reckon. Lighting fires. It's annoying. Anyway. Yeah, it's a good day.
Excellent.
All right. Well, we should probably call it crits while we're here. I am also editing some videos, Spliffy. So I will have my long-term review of my panel, and I've also got to have a review. So unboxing, review, and installation of my HOTAS thing as well, which I've got to do and edit everything today and then upload it. And then I'll also do this video as well and upload that to YouTube.
Nice.
So let's find someone to raid into, shall we? Who are we gonna find?
I wonder if Goobs is on.
No. Oh, we got Richard.
Yeah, let's do Richard.
I haven't spoken to him in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do Richard. Looks like he's playing some weird game. There's a gun involved in it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Wazdog, for talking to us. That was very nice of you. We hope you have a good day and night, depending you are in the world, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
See you all.